Today marks my 1 year anniversary travel, guys. Today. Technically, it's April 10th. If you can't tell, I'm at a glacier, guys. I'm at a glacier. I'm at a glacier. I think I was able to see that one on camera. Don't know for sure. But yeah, technically it's April 10th, guys. But April 11th is my 1 year anniversary. I'm going to be in a bus. So what better time to do it than now? And what a year it has been, guys. I don't know. Y'all have seen some of it since my last video that's in chronological order that I'm uploading. I'm still in Peru. But I've been to Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. I'm in Argentina right now, basically at the end of the world. And I'm going to go to Chile next. And I still remember, guys. I still remember all the way back in Mexico when it was hot, right? You see how bundled up I am now. I'm freezing cold. But you can just remember how hot it was in Mexico. And that was my very first time really out in a different country for an extended period of time. It was everything that I could have wanted. I could have been there I think I was there for 33 days in Mexico. I could have been there for 33 days and then left and went back home and my life would have been changed. So to keep on going past that, I didn't even know what I was expecting on this trip. I didn't know what I was going to feel. I didn't know what I was going to experience. I didn't know what I was going to see on this trip. And to be a year all the way in Argentina, basically started in Mexico at the basically tip of the world is insane. But I just really want to reflect right now, guys. I just want to think about my life this past year, right? Right? Like the things that I have experienced have been nothing short of life-changing. Nothing short. Being able to see volcanoes erupt in my front of my face, seeing the most bluest water that I could ever see, being on an island stranded where a hurricane is coming and I sleep on a trash boat, right? Like being able to go on these crazy hikes, going to these random clubs in these random countries and just experiencing the culture, trying all these foods. Guys, this has been so much of a year. So much of a year. And I want to thank you guys for coming along with me. Y'all have been great. Y'all have really gave me words of encouragement. Some of y'all, not the best words of encouragement. Some of y'all are really mean. But that's okay, right? We live and we learn and we experience everything good and bad. But and I know this video is different than all my other ones, right? But what a year. What a year, guys. In Guatemala, right? Seeing that volcano erupt in front of my face. Hiking, that was my first big hike. And I think that's what got me into hiking. I really wasn't hiking that much and just in my life overall, especially in Mexico, I don't think I did any really big hikes. But when I did that volcano hike in Guatemala, there's something that clicked on my body. There's something that was like, hey, you kind of like this, you know? And I think that was the start of something new, right? I also did Spanish classes in that 1 week when I was at the lake in Guatemala. Hated it. Haven't did Spanish classes since because interesting. Okay, haven't did Spanish classes since because okay. So basically, the glacier is like melting, right? Because climate change is really bad. I'll give you more information about this glacier later, but pieces are falling off of it every second. And so when I was in Guatemala, it was just almost me barely getting to my stride of traveling, right? It's about month 2, like 1.5 months, month 2. And I was being able to really get confident in the way that I travel, right? Take a little bit more public buses instead of taxis, Ubers, and private shuttles. I was talking to a lot of people just in the street, trying street food, which sometimes made my stomach hurt, which was not the best, but oh well, it's fine, all right? And then I went into El Salvador. El Salvador is a lovely country, one of the most loveliest countries that I have seen in my whole entire time yet. I absolutely loved it. And for the longest time, that was my favorite country. The people, the food, the experiences were all just amazing. Nothing short of an amazing time there. The food, and that was really when I got into the food culture of going to countries, right? Pupusas. Come on, guys, it was so delicious. And so to be able to get into that really early on, I think helped me out for the rest of my trip. It was amazing. From there, we went to Nicaragua. Nicaragua was it was a time, guys. It was, honestly, I don't remember much of it, right? I remember volcano boarding out in Leon, having a blast, right? The treehouse rave out in the middle of nowhere. I went to Omitepe Island, right? And that was, Omitepe Island was right, renting scooters and driving through the streets, right? Lovely, lovely, lovely place. From there, I took a boat I took a boat from El Salvador to Nicaragua. See how I'm mixing stuff up? It's not the best, guys. Not the best at all. So from there, from Nicaragua, we went into Costa Rica. Now, everybody told me, skip Costa Rica. That it's not good, that it's not worth it, that it's expensive, and that if you want your money to last, go somewhere else, right? But I said, no, I want to enjoy everything, no matter the cost, no matter the experience. I want to just experience it, you know? So I went to Costa Rica and I fell in love with the town called Monteverde. I was in Monteverde for more than a month total, and it was just a fun place. I love the cloud forest. That was also the first time I volunteered somewhere. So being able to be in one place for an extended period of time, just getting to know the locals, and they knew me by my name. Like the neighbor where I worked at was like, "How you doing, Donald?" And I was like, "I'm doing good, Maria." Like, come on. And just getting to build those connections with people was out of this world. And then so going from there, we're in Panama. Panama, what can I say about Panama? For the longest time, it was a country where I spent the most time in, and it was everything you wanted to be from the first day I got in. I took a random bus on a random border town. I took 3 buses that time just to get to little islands called Bocas del Toro. And I went there for one reason and one reason only, and that was a party. It's a big party on every Friday. It's called 50 Fridays. And boy, did I get filthy. It was an insane time, an absolutely insane time. But I loved it. From there, I went down to a beach town called Santa Catalina. And I have mentioned plenty of times how I do not like beaches. But I was there for 35 days at a smoking hot beach with a bunch of surfers. And I only went to the beach 3 times. 3 times when I was there. The very first day when I was getting toured around by the people that I was supposed to stay with. One more time when I went to like the island, Cobia, I forgot the name. Cobia, wow, I'm forgetting stuff by the second. And normally my memory is really good. Either or, I went out to those islands around there. I saw some sharks in the water, swam next to turtles, enjoyed some island vibes. Right? I want to tell you about the Corn Islands in Nicaragua. I experienced so much this year that is just hard to keep track of. And I'm very grateful, guys. I'm very grateful that I did this. So that was really Central America. Before I go to South America, I just want to say that this probably has been the best decision of my life. The absolute best. A lot of people told me don't do this trip. A lot of people said I'm wasting my money. A lot of people said I'm wasting my time doing this, right? But now having been out for a full year, seeing the wonders of the world, guys. And yeah, there's wonders of the world like Machu Picchu, Christ the Redeemer, which I'll get to in a second because those are amazing. Right, Iguazu Falls, this glacier, all of this stuff. It's all the stuff that's in between, you know? It's not the destination, it's the journey, right? I have met amazing people in buses. I've met amazing people just standing in line. I've met amazing people just out in the world, you know? And during Central America, my first roughly 5 or 6 months traveling was, it was it was something to see. Yeah, like I could have did that part of the world very fast. I know people who did Mexico through Panama in 3 months, right? But I wanted to give myself some time. I was very new to this, right? Nobody in my family is doing what I'm doing. No, none of my friends back home are doing what I'm doing. So I had nobody to ask on. I had nobody to really help me out in the journey. It was just me with the backpack and trying my best to figure it out as I go. Yeah, there's information online, but when you do that, it really dilutes the experience. So you have expectations, and we'll get to expectations real quick, of just about what to see, what to do, how you're gonna feel. And I realized early on, especially in Central America, that just because they had a good experience doesn't mean that I'm going to have one, or vice versa. So yeah, that's Central America for me. Let's move on to South America. So my first country was Colombia, and Colombia was, I was thinking about Colombia today actually, but Colombia was an interesting place. My very first day there, I saw someone get shot with the gun, right? And you always hear these things about Latin America, how it's dangerous, how it's like you can't walk at night, you can't do this, you can't do that. And for the full Central America, I was like, y'all are tripping, bro. I'm gonna walk at night, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm going to experience everything that I can and worry about the safety later. Now, I know to my mom and dad who are watching this, my son's insane. Why is he doing this? I get it, right? But it's really not that dangerous. But that first day when I was in Colombia, when I saw someone got shot, I knew that Colombia and South America was going to be different. It was not going to be the same by any margin. And I think when I saw that happen in Colombia, it was in Cartagena, Colombia, it really shook me and it made me rethink how I wanted to travel. Seeing that day was, it was something to see, and I still think about it often, to be honest. I might need to go to a therapist when I go back home to, really express and talk about my feelings, but I thought that was insane. From there, right, in all of Colombia, while I was there, I met some of the best people you can meet. Some people said Colombia was the best country in the world, and I could see why they say that. Not for me, right? But I could see why they think that. The travelers that are there are insane. The locals are so gentle. They're so kind. And the country is a very, not large when you compare it to like the country that I'm in now, Argentina, or even Brazil, or even Mexico, kind of. But every city has something that to see, and it's all beautiful. The nature there is out of this world, and I I liked it. I think in one of my videos in Colombia, I was really dogging it. But the more that I think, the more that I learn, the more that I experience life and traveling, I realized truly how special Colombia was. It's a very fun country to where you can do a lot of stuff. I was in Sand Hill, right, for a week, and every day was a nonstop adventure, paragliding, caving, whitewater rafting, almost dying in the Rio Suarez, a level 5 rapid river, and I thought I could cross it without any gear. Guys, what was I thinking, right? Like that, and that was months ago, guys. But it felt like it was yesterday. It really did. Like, am I recording still? I don't even know if I'm recording. It would suck if wasn't. I'm recording, baby. All right, we're good. Sorry, guys, my screen went black. And so I almost died there, guys. I almost died. And so and that was the second time I almost died. I didn't even tell you about the first one, right? When I was in Nicaragua, Corn Islands. And so all this stuff is just going fast and it's moving really go. But looking back on it, Colombia was really an interesting time. It was an interesting place. And I'm very glad. And to speak on Colombia, I met some of the best people ever, right? I met people in Colombia, Bogota, Cartagena, Santa Marta, San Hill, Bucaramanga, Jardín, Salento, Finlandia, Popayan, Ipala, St. Augustine. All these cities are just memories in my bank. And it sucks that you don't get to see some of it, right? Because I don't really have my camera, I'm not recording every single detail of my life. And sometimes if I whip out my camera, it just kills the vibe, especially when I'm talking to either a local or like another traveler about their stories and their histories. But I experienced it, right? Sorry that you don't get to, but I did. And those memories I hope will never flee from my brain. Moving on to Ecuador. Ecuador is an amazing place. The the culture there is a mix between Peru, which I'm about to talk to, and Colombia as well. And there I traveled with some people that were the second longest people that I traveled with. I'm actually traveling with this woman right now who's actually been like the longest person that I traveled with. But I met these two French girls at the end of my trip in Colombia, and we did all of Ecuador together. And having them there was great because I knew nothing about Ecuador. The only thing that I knew that I wanted to go do was the Cotopaxi National Park. But I didn't know how I was going to get there, where I was going to stay, how was I going to do it. But those two French girls took care of everything. Now, I just mentioned that was the only reason why I wanted to go to that country. So I have a whole list of countries, right, that I want to go to, and I only really want to go to those countries only for one thing and one thing only, right? So I'll start back up in Mexico again. I already did the Yucatan prior to this trip with one of my ex-girlfriends. It was a resort. It was ridiculous amounts of money, but it was also ridiculous amounts of fun. But there's one reason why I wanted to go to Mexico. That was to visit Mexico City, the largest city in the Western Hemisphere. And I wanted to see for myself how large it was, and it was, right? The one reason why I wanted to go to Guatemala was the erupting volcano, Volcan Fuego, right? I wanted to see for myself a volcano erupt right in front of my eyes. And I was honored to have that experience, right? Going down from Guatemala, El Salvador, I want to try pupusas. So pupusas in Texas, they're really good, right? But they're not as good as they were from El Salvador. When an El Salvadoran person, man or woman, makes a pupusa with love, it tastes like heaven on earth, guys. So that was my main reason why I wanted to go to El Salvador. Nicaragua, I wanted to slide down a volcano. I heard everybody talking about it in Mexico, Guatemala, and El Salvador. And I was like, yeah, I'm already going to go that way regardless. This is the perfect reason to do it. And I'm sliding down this volcano. I'm like, this is pure fun. In Costa Rica, I wanted to go to the Cloud Forest where I fell in love. I already knew I was going to fall in love with it. I wanted to just go see it for myself. And the Cloud Forest in Monteverde was absolutely amazing. The one reason why I wanted to go to Panama was the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal was everything that you could hope for. You see these huge ships, right? These huge ships carrying the world's goods, right? Your iPhones, your cameras, your laptops, your TVs, your cars, your oil even, right? Getting shipped all over the world through this tiny little piece of strip of land. And I saw it, and it was amazing. So in Colombia, the only reason why I was there, and the only reason why I didn't leave the moment I saw someone get shot and go to another country was because of Palenque. Palenque is a little town near Cartagena. That's why I chose to be there first on my very first day. It's a lovely town. It was the first freed African city full of slaves, right, in the Americas, right? So the first people there were the first freed Africans from Africa to do as they want without being controlled by some white man or some plantation owner and getting exploited. They had free choice of will. And I wanted to see that for myself. Now, back to the story in Ecuador, Cotopaxi National Park. It was everything that I could have hoped and dreamed it was. So everybody should have heard of Cotopaxi, right? They're a big clothing brand in the States, really mainly for their backpacks. And if you travel, you see everybody in Cotopaxi backpacks because I guess they're just a good backpack brand. And so I really wanted to go to Cotopaxi National Park, and it was amazing. The views that you get, where I stayed at was by far one of the best places I have stayed this whole entire year. The land that we were on, it was kind of like a resort, to be honest. And it was absolutely lovely. Now, also when I was there, I got an eye infection for the third time? Third time this trip, right? The third time. My first time was in Mexico. It was in San Cristobal de las Casas in Chiapas, Mexico. Eye infection. Bad time there. Second time was in Panama. An even worse time there. But the worst time was in Ecuador when I was in Cotopaxi. I went on some hike up to some peak, got to see great views of the city. And the next day, my eye was shut. Gone. I couldn't see anything. And I wanted to do so much there. I wanted to do so much more there than I already did. And I couldn't because my eye was shut. I couldn't see much. And it was just a bad time. And yeah. And that's really was me for a whole week. But I couldn't stay there in Cotopaxi National Park for that long. So I just had to keep on moving. And I'm so grateful for those two French girls that I met that literally carried me out through a whole Ecuador time. Because if I would have had an eye infection and I still traveled by myself, I would have been a goner, guys. I would have fell off a cliff because I couldn't see what was going on. And those girls, they helped me out so much. Moving on into Peru. Peru is by far my favorite country. I just want to say it. Sorry, El Salvador. Peru is everything that you can think of. Machu Picchu, the beach, great food. Ceviche, y'all heard of it, right? Ceviche from Peru is insane, right? The history of that place, the Incas, bro, is unbeatable. And still to this day, while I'm in Argentina, it has been the longest country that I stayed time in. And that's just because I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. I crossed over from the border. I went to Mancora, Chiclao, Trujillo, Juarez, Cusco, Pisac. I'm missing some city. But I was there. And I think at that point, I really did hit my stride. I really did hit my stride of traveling. And I was loving every single day. I truly was. But I also made one about loneliness, right? And traveling for as long as I have, just really by yourself, really does get lonely, you know? Like you are by yourself in a foreign nation, really don't know the language very much. You don't know how stuff works. You don't know where to go, which way, blah, 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 blah. And you do feel lonely at some parts, especially how I like to travel, because I don't want to be talking to everybody. You know what I mean? I just want to sit here and enjoy this glacier. Guys, I'm at a glacier, and I'm looking at y'all when I could be looking at this, all right? But when you're just super traveling solo, like, it does get lonely, especially the random times. I went for 2 weeks one time without talking to a single soul in English, you know? Yeah, I had to talk to, like, the cashier and stuff like that, but for the most part, no travelers, no nothing. And during that time, it's like, I'm all alone, right? I'm all alone during this trip. I'm all alone doing that, and you feel really lonely. But it all changed when I went to Cusco. Cusco is the one city where I spent over 30 days in. And Cusco, whew, if I could tell you some stories about Cusco, I would, because Cusco was a place for stories. And I loved it. That was maybe my second or third time where I really got to hang out with locals constantly, right? I'm really practicing Spanish every day, and I'm really improving on my Spanish, because Spanish was one of the goals that I started off in Mexico, that in this time in Latin America, I really want to learn Spanish. So I think I really did that. And in Cusco, I practiced the most. I learned as much slang as I possibly could, and I just had a fun time there. And Machu Picchu was my first world wonder of the trip, right? And I got to really, really see it up and close and personal. And it is as magical as they say. They always tell you Machu Picchu is one of the best world wonders in the world. And I believe them, right? Like when I was there, I was like, wow, this really is a magical place. You feel it. And I can't wait to show you the full video of what I'm talking about. But yeah, you feel it. And speaking of videos, I know, guys, I don't be posting as much as I should. But let me tell you, I much rather be out talking to locals, talking to travelers, having the best travel stories, conversating, experiencing my travel, than being hunched over on a laptop editing videos for 5 hours a night. So I'm sorry, guys. I just can't do it. I have time like that, right? I don't got no job. I'm just out here traveling around, but I much rather use that time to really see, you know, see glaciers. You know what I mean? Like I much rather do that and not just edit. But when I find time, I will edit. And like I said, I got the rest of Peru, Brazil. I was in Brazil. Okay, I'm not to Brazil yet, but I was in Brazil for Carnival. I'll get there in a second. Paraguay, Uruguay. I'm in Argentina now. I'm going to Chile next, and you won't see Chile for months probably. Sorry to tell you that. You probably won't even see Argentina for a nice while maybe, but yeah, I just can't be bothered of sitting down somewhere editing film constantly. So if you want to see what I'm up to each day, my best thing to do is Instagram. Now, Instagram don't got no rules like it does with YouTube, right, guys? I can post almost anything on there. So if you do choose to follow me on there, be prepared to see some crazy stuff, and hear some crazy stories. Yeah. But moving on from Peru. Let's talk about Brazil. So my original OG plan of doing South America was cross over from Peru to Bolivia, then Bolivia to Brazil, or Bolivia to Paraguay, Brazil, either or. But I stayed a little bit too much time in Cusco, as I said before, and I needed to take a flight. This would be my third flight of my trip, technically second at the start of it, right? I flew from America to Mexico, then I flew from Panama to Colombia, and I went from Peru to Brazil. My plan was not to take a flight, but my third time there, and I fell in love with lounge access, right? I knew I had lounge access way before I even used it when I was in Panama, but being in the Lima airport in a lounge, I I just loved it. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna start taking more flights. Hey, I know it's bad for the earth. I know, right? But it saves me money. So me being a smart consumer, you gotta pick and choose your battles, guys. So sorry, Pachamama. Sorry, Mother Earth. I'm gonna take some flights in this trip that I'm talking about right now. Either or. All right, I'm flying into Brazil, and I make it just in time for Carnival, right? The most biggest party in the world in Rio, Brazil, Carnival. And it was something that I wasn't ready for. I was still traveling for like, at that point, 10, 11 months. I think it was 10 months. And and I have seen some stuff, guys. I have seen some stuff in my time. But Rio Carnival Brazil was crazy. The streets were filled with people. Everybody has their shirts off. There's water guns going off. There's music dancing. Everybody's just kissing everybody in the streets. I don't know. Hey, that's just culture, right? That's just culture. And it was a lot of firsts for me. It was a lot of first things. You know what I mean? And I didn't expect for what I did. And every Brazilian that I met too in my travels, I met a lot in Ecuador. I met some in Peru. They were like, "You're not ready. You've been traveling forever. We go to parties here and there, but you're not ready to experience Carnival in Rio." Like, and they're right. They're right. It tore me up, guys. I was there for 12 days and my body was exhausted. Can't wait to show you that. And that was like, for the most part, that was the bulk of my time in Brazil. Portuguese is my next language that I am going to try to become fluent at. Despres Espanol, right? But that is my next one, so I got to go back to Brazil at some point. But travel news, they just made Americans pay for a visa starting today, actually, April 10th, is when you need to have a visa to enter Brazil from Canada, Australia, and the U.S. Just and it's $90. I think it's $80. $80. You got to fill out a bunch of paperwork. And normally I don't do countries with visa. But if I'm learning, Portuguese next, I'm gonna go back to Brazil because it's nuts. And there's a whole nother side of Brazil that I didn't even get to see. I normally did the south, everything south of Rio de Janeiro, and luckily I went there when it was visa free. But yeah, so that's everything south. But I'm really coming back. But another big standout that I have to mention, which you haven't seen yet, and I really hope that you do, was the Iguatu Falls. When I mean I was a volcano and waterfall guy for the longest time, and especially in Central America. That's all there is there, right? Volcanoes, waterfalls, volcanoes, waterfalls, volcanoes, waterfalls. But the waterfall in Brazil, which is on the border of Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina, is the best that I've ever seen in my whole entire life. It was, I would chalk it up to life changing, right? You're sitting there, and just as big as this glacier is the waterfalls. Maybe even a little bit bigger than this glacier. And this is a huge, this is a huge piece of ice, guys. And so it was really life changing, and especially, and while I was there, I was really reflecting on my times, and not really comparing it to what I'd seen before, waterfall wise, especially in El Salvador, Nicaragua, and places like that. But I was saying, wow, what a life, guys. What a life this has been. Being able to see this huge waterfall, which is the mother of all waterfalls, right? All the water that flows from the Amazon rainforest comes here, man. And whew, loved it, loved it, loved it. From there, I went to Paraguay, guys. Paraguay. Now, I think Paraguay was the shortest amount of time I ever spent in a country. Actually, the second shortest. The shortest is coming up here soon. I got food poisoning in Paraguay, which I have not gotten food poisoning at all this trip, at all. So to get it in Paraguay, like 11 months into my trip, 10 months into my trip, is insane. I ate some food. I'm gonna tell you the story probably in a different time, but just a short part. I ate some food in the morning, and at night I was crying, and that's all I'm gonna say. And after that, I was like, ain't no reason I'm gonna stay in Paraguay. No more. I had a bad experience, and there's no reason to keep having a bad experience in Paraguay. So I went back into Brazil. When I was back into Brazil, I was really only there for 2 more days till I made it to my next country. I was constantly on buses. I still got to like walk around the cities and stuff like that, but I was trying to get out of there to my next country, which was Uruguay. Now, Uruguay is the second most expensive country I have been to so far. And when I mean it's expensive, I mean that it's more than what you think of in the States. It's expensive, right? One burger I had was $12 USD. It was $12.22. I remember it. So when I swiped my card, I was like, you want how much for this burger? You know? And that is a trend, right? You see that in the food, the restaurants, even at the grocery store. You see something that was in Paraguay or in Brazil for $1 or $2, and it's 5 or 6 in Uruguay. And I was like, wow, why is that for the most part, you know? Turns out, Uruguay has the highest salary of all of the Latin American countries. Mexico, South, the Caribbean, Uruguay is the richest, and you can tell that in the prices. But while I was there, I really didn't do much, right? I was really trying to find some stuff to do. I was really trying to experience the country, see what like sights and sounds, the food that it had, and I really didn't experience much there, to be honest. Didn't, and that was kind of sucky, right? And I was really there, hyped up. I was just recovered off of my food sickness, you know? So I was like, I'm ready to see some stuff. And I didn't see a single thing, unfortunate. But the one reason why I went to Uruguay was to try mate. Mate is a drink that is drunken here in South America, especially in Argentina and some parts of Brazil, but mainly in Uruguay and Argentina. And when I'm drinking it, it was not what I expected it to be. You see, everybody has these little carts of hot water and this cup, which is called the mate, and it's filled with mate. I don't know exactly what it's filled with, but you call it mate. Y'all get what I'm saying. And I'm sipping it, and I sip it from this random woman that I met at a concert, a free concert that I stumbled upon in Uruguay. And it was 1 or 2 days prior to me leaving Uruguay to go to Argentina, the country I am in now. And yeah, it was random because I'm out here at this concert. I'm enjoying the vibes. And this girl's like, hey, you want to try some mate? Or I think she's trying to flirt with me, you know. But y'all know me, the ladies' man. And so she sips me, or she prepares me the mate. I sip it. I immediately burn my tongue. Immediately. But I'm not going to tell her that, you know. I'm trying to flirt too, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, it's really good, while my tongue is on fire, right? That's a whole different story for another day. But that was the only reason why I wanted to try mate, or the only reason why I came to Uruguay, and I did it on my last day, and I couldn't be more happy. Now, I'm in Argentina. I took a boat from Uruguay to Argentina, and when I got there, it was a different experience. Buenos Aires is a city that is huge, that doesn't feel like Latin America. It feels like something different. And the air is just different here in Argentina. So far, it's really not the most Latin American country that I have seen, really. Some people compare it to Europe. I have never been to Europe like that. But they really do say that it is very much like a European city. Some people say it's from like Barcelona, London, Berlin even. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing, because this doesn't look like like the cities that I've seen before, right? That are more Spanish side, that's more smaller buildings, not skyscrapers galore. The facades on the outside of the building are very plain in other parts in Latin America. But in Europe, they're very decorated very nicely. And even from the food standpoint, it's very like European, right? A lot of Italian places. You can find Italian food anywhere in this world, I believe, especially in Latin America. But in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, that I've seen, it's very much European food. And I think that is insane. I tried a wine tour. Ooh, I'm trying to think of what I have been doing in Argentina. My Argentina trip is still ongoing. I'm not about to leave anytime soon. So I'm really trying to think of what I'm thinking about. But I was in Mendoza, Argentina, the wine capital, some would say, of South America, and for sure the wine capital of Argentina. And I was trying Malbec wines galore here. And that's what they're known for, right? They're known for their meat and their wine. They have some of the cheapest meat in the world, right? I think they got a lot of cows here, I guess. They chop it up and they got too much meat for everybody. So the meat here is insane. A T-bone steak here, a nice thick one, like I don't know what the ounces are, probably like a 20-ounce T-bone steak that you would get in the States at a nice high-end luxury fine dining restaurant. Here it's like $4, $7. In America, that steak at the grocery store is costing me $20. At the restaurant, believe about it, I don't got no money to go to a restaurant like that, right? And so it was a shock, right, to see the meat. But the wine, guys, I'm a wino. I did a wine tour back in Sonoma Valley, way back when I was still in university, and I fell in love with wine. So to be in a place with as good as wine as I have been before has been lovely. I did a wine tour in Mendoza on a bicycle, and it didn't end so well, guys. I was pretty drunk, and I had a good time. The wine caught up to me. And here I am now, guys. I'm in Patagonia. Patagonia is the second reason why I really wanted to come to Argentina. I didn't know if I was going to be able to come here to Patagonia based on time, scheduling, and blah, blah, blah. But boy, am I glad that I made it. Look at this glacier. It's huge. The blue ice is insane, right? Like, crazy. And to think that I started off in America, right? The second in the Western Hemisphere, the only country above us is Canada, right? So to start from America, Texas, right? Last year at April 11th, 2024, and to be in Argentina at the tip of the world, basically, in April 11th, 2025 I couldn't have written a better story myself, to be honest. For 1 year, do the whole span of South America, Central America, and start off in Mexico, which is part of North America for those who don't know. And the thing is, I didn't even plan to be here during this time. I had no plan at all, guys. I was just seeing what the vibes were, and I was just going towards them, you know? My original plan to really travel was to do Mexico to Argentina in 3 months. Then I was going to take a flight to Paris to see the Olympics, which I was in Costa Rica during the Olympics. Then from there, I was going to fly to Africa, do a couple of African countries. Then I was going to go fly to India, do Southeast Asia. Then I was going to do Japan, Australia, then go home. All right? That was going to be my 1 year plan. All right? And you can see that I'm running 7 months late. No, not 7. 9 months late. I had to do some quick math. 9 months late on that plan, and I wouldn't change it for a thing, guys. This whole year has been, like I keep saying, nothing short of amazing. It has been a great miracle that I even got to be on this trip, to see the things that I see. Guys, I'm sitting in front of a glacier, guys. Come on. A glacier. I would never in my life think that I could be standing in front of a glacier as close as I am. Right? And the crazy thing is, in the next couple of days, I'm going to be even closer to one. So to be as close as I am now is amazing. I'm just a boy from a small town in Texas, right? Small town in Texas where it's hot, or 99% of the population ain't even seen a glacier, let alone have to wear a jacket, an alpaca wool sweater, and a shirt underneath just to stay warm. I never thought I would be able to even do this trip. And I'm very glad, guys. I'm very glad that I'm here right now, this exact moment with you guys and with me, right? By myself. This is my solo travel trip, right? It's just me. Very, very, very happy to be here. And yeah, guys, I don't know. What a time it has been. What a beautiful place that I have seen. Beautiful places that I have seen. And I'm just happy, guys. My heart feels... I was crying the other day. I'm not going to cry on YouTube. Y'all will never catch me do that. But I was crying when I was in just a city, and I was reflecting. I was really saying, like, wow, it's really about to be a year. It's about to be 1 year since I started traveling. And I was like, how grateful am I to really experience everything that I have experienced, everything I will continue to experience, and everything that I just... I don't know, guys. I don't know. And it sucks that when I do finally decide to call this trip over, don't know when that is, don't know where. But when I do, and I go back home, and I talk to my family and my friends, no one's really going to understand what I have been through and what I've seen. Right? Like, yeah, well, you can go on vacation and, like, do all this. What time is it?
Yeah, check. We got time.
We got plenty of time. And so to go home, to talk to my parents, right? To go talk to my grandparents, talk to my family and friends that have never even left the States, right? Never even been able to go out to a country to go see. And mind you, Mexico is in my backyard, basically. And people don't even go there, right? And so to be in another hemisphere, in front of a glacier, guys, I still can't believe I'm in front of a glacier right now, has been just insane. And I'm really gonna be the only one that understands it, right? And that's why I really keep talking about the travelers that I meet, because they're in the same boat as I am, right? They're in the same boat as, they just said, hey, I want to see the world. So they packed up their stuff in a little backpack, and they started to just do the exact same thing that I'm doing. We share some experiences, some not. We choose some places, some not. But only this small group percentage of the world would understand what I'm saying when I say that it's life-changing, guys. It truly is life-changing. It is it. And once again, I'm glad that I didn't listen to the haters, didn't listen to everybody that was like, don't go, it's dangerous, you're gonna get yourself hurt, what a waste of money, and this and that and this. But I'm glad I did not listen to them, because I'm happy and I'm in front of a glacier. So thank you all for watching, guys. This was a great reflection time video. I'm taking up everybody's time here. But I just needed to share this to you, and I needed for you to be like, wow, really? Has it been 1 year? And yes, it has. Once again, guys, I'm thankful that I'll even get the chance to show you just a glimpse, guys, of my 365 days of traveling, guys. I'm very thankful that I get to do this. I'm very thankful that I get to show you. I'm very thankful that the stars aligned that I got to be here at this exact moment. So, yeah, guys, happy travels.